Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. I am super excited to share this recipe with you guys today. This is one of the most delicious Eastern European pastry recipes. I'll be making my blueberry and cheese Vatrushka buns. These are so incredibly delicious and they're perfect with a cup of coffee or tea. I have the original plain version of Vatrushki or Vatrushka buns in my cookbook Beyond Borscht. This Eastern European pastry is super popular, especially in Ukraine and in Russia, and you can find it with a variety of different fillings. We're going to start with a really buttery, sweet yeast dough and then fill it inside with a mixture of farmer's cheese, a cream cheese, a little bit of sugar. Top that off with some blueberry preserves, blueberries, a streusel topping, and then once these are baked, they'll be really golden on the outside, cheesy, fruity on the inside. These are so delicious with a cup of coffee or tea, and you can enjoy them for breakfast or as an afternoon snack. For the full list of ingredients and the printable instructions, don't forget to head on down into that video description box and over to my website. I'll also include order links for my cookbook. For the yeast dough, you'll want to heat 1 cup of whole milk in the microwave or on the stovetop. It needs to be between 120 and 130 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to pour this into a large mixing bowl. Add in half a cup of white granulated sugar. Then sprinkle in 1.5 tablespoons of dry active yeast. And then let this proof for about 5 minutes. A properly proofed and prepared yeast should become foamy and fluffy on the top. And then you want to stir that into the milk and sugar mixture. Next, I'll add in half a teaspoon of sea salt. Measure out 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Add 2 eggs plus 2 egg yolks. Then pour in 1.5 cups of melted unsalted butter and make sure that this cools a little bit before you add it to the mixture. Give this a whisk until the eggs are well beaten. We'll need approximately 5 cups of all-purpose flour, and you want to start by adding the flour in gradually and whisking after each addition, and then once a dough starts to form, you could switch over to a spatula. And it's really important that you add the flour gradually. We want to end up with a really soft, elastic, buttery dough. Once a dough ball starts to form, I'm going to sprinkle my work surface generously with flour and then turn the dough out onto my work surface. Sprinkle more flour as needed and then just knead the dough until it's no longer super sticky, but you want it to remain very, very soft. And because this is a more oily yeast dough, similar to a brioche, it's going to take a little bit longer to knead. So I usually knead anywhere from about 12 to 15 minutes. It's a little labor intensive. If you want to save your hands the workout, you could drop your dough into a stand mixer bowl with that dough attachment. You want to run it on the lowest speed. I would run it anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes until the dough is really smooth and elastic. Now I'm going to place it back into my mixing bowl. We'll cover this with a tea towel, and then I'm going to show you a little trick to get this dough to proof a little bit quicker. You'll want to grab a little pot and then make sure that the bowl fits on top of the pot without touching the bottom of the water. We're going to pour some boiling water into the pot. And this warm moisture is going to help the dough proof a little bit quicker. Since it is a buttery dough, it's going to take anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2 hours to proof until it's doubled up in size. You want to make sure to keep it nice and warm and then change out that water periodically. While we're waiting for the dough to proof, we could start on the filling. I've softened 8 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to beat it with my mixer for a few minutes until it's nice and smooth. Next, add in 1 large egg, half a teaspoon of salt. You can add anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar. And we'll need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Mix this all together. And last Last, we'll need 2 cups, about 330 grams of tvorog. This is called farmer's cheese or quark. I get mine at a local Eastern European market. I think Whole Foods and a couple other stores might sell it too. It's a really dry, crumbly cheese, not too sweet, not too salty, making it perfect for all sorts of recipes. If you're not able to find it at your store, I'm going to leave instructions for how you can use a cottage cheese up on my website. Mix together the cheeses. Next, let's make our streusel topping. I'm going to add half a cup of all-purpose flour along with half a cup of white granulated sugar into my mixer or into my food processor. And I've cubed a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. You want this butter to be really nice and cold. We'll drop that into our processor. And then you want to pulse everything together until you have a crumbly mixture. I'm going to add a little bit of cream, add maybe a couple teaspoons at a time until you have a crumbly mixture, everything kind of comes together. My dough has proofed really nicely, and now we're ready to shape our buns. So I'm going to gently punch the dough down. We're going to transfer it back onto our work surface. Oh, it's so fluffy and buttery. Now we're going to grab a little bench scraper, or you can use a knife, and we're going to split the dough. You can make either 12 or 16 buns with this recipe. And then without over kneading the dough too much, we're going to just gently shape the dough back into a ball. I've lined 2 baking sheets with silicone mats. You can also use parchment paper. We're going to try to space out the balls of dough evenly. And now we need to make space for our cheese filling and the blueberry preserves. You want to grab the glass with a flat bottom or a jar like I'm using today, with maybe 1.5 inches in diameter. We're going to press in the center of each bun, make like a little space on the inside there. And then you can shape further with a little spoon. I'm going to pierce the bottom of the dough here with a little fork. We'll grab our cheese filling, add a nice heaping spoonful right in the middle. Add a bit of blueberry preserves on top. I'm preheating my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I like to set these baking sheets right on top of the stove. That warmth from the oven is going to help these proof a little bit faster. I usually let them proof anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes until they're light and fluffy again. And then before they go into the oven, we're going to apply an egg wash. And for that, I simply beat an egg together with a little bit of water, and then I'll use a pastry brush to brush that on. And we're going to sprinkle on our streusel right before these hit the oven. These will bake anywhere from 30 to 35 minutes until they're a rich golden brown color around the edges, and then we want to take them out, let them cool on a wire rack. Taking my pastries out of the oven. How good do those look? I wish you guys could smell them through the screen, because the aroma of the blueberry preserves with the cheese and the sweet bread is incredible. I'm going to grab a little spatula here. We'll transfer our buns to a cooling rack. We'll let them cool for at least a good 15-20 minutes before eating, because that cheese is going to be super hot. These are still really warm from the oven, so the cheese hasn't really set yet, but I wanted you guys to see what they kind of look like on the inside. So you have that incredible cheese, that fluffy, buttery dough. And that's it for my blueberry and cheese Vatrushka buns. These smell so incredible. I can't wait for you guys to try these at home. Don't forget to head on down into that video description box for the recipe link and the written instructions up on my website, and make sure to check out my cookbook Beyond Borscht for more Ukrainian recipes. I actually chilled one of these in the refrigerator so that I could enjoy it a little bit sooner, because they do take a little bit of time to cool down. That cheese is going to be super hot when you just take it out of the oven. These are incredible. That yeast bread is so soft, fluffy, delicious, just a little hint of sweetness in there, and it combines so well with that cheese and blueberry filling on the top. I can totally imagine this for breakfast with your coffee, as an afternoon snack, as an after dinner dessert. You could eat this all day long. The textures here and the flavors just out of this world. If you've never had these pastries before, you absolutely must give them a try. It's the perfect weekend baking recipe, and if you have any left over, you could save them for Monday. Just seal the pastries in an airtight container and then store them in the fridge after 2 days. I hope you guys enjoyed this incredible recipe at home. Thank you so much for watching my latest episode, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.